Greetings, it's Intuitive Jakob back, and I'm here to do a Mercury Retrograde reading. We are stepping into Mercury Retrograde on the 7th. We've been in the pre-shadow for a little while now, and this season, Mercury is actually going between two signs. The sign of Cancer, we started the pre-shadow period, late degrees, 23 degrees, Cancer. We are going Mercury Retrograde in 2 days from now on the 7th. At 4 degrees Leo, and by the time we are going direct again on the 31st of July, we'll be back in Cancer at 24 degrees. There are some interesting interplays with planetary matters, specifically with Pluto in retrograde, Uranus in retrograde, and how Mercury and Mars are planets of communication, how we fight and how we bleep, we'll just say F, and how people might be acting, especially in regards to how healing is coming forward. Retrograde seasons tend to be like a big sweeping magnet of particles that bring things back. So it's a time to review, a time to reflect, and sometimes things just come back in our faces, like relationships and things that had gone missing, and sometimes we're like, get out of here, I don't miss you at all. So could be a mixed bag for many of you. I'm going to ask that you know your own stories, your own genders, and know whether or not these depictions will apply to you. I will be doing 12 different readings, one for each of the 12 tribes. Make sure you check your sun, your moon, and your rising with me, because I'm actually more of a moon reader guy. And I will also say I'm focusing mostly on the healing energy in this. We have Chiron making a very strong appearance here at 4 degrees Aries. Wherever you might have that located, whatever is going on in your house of Aries may be influenced heavily with this type of healing that's coming forward. So I'm doing a 5-card spread for each of you. It's a cross, and with my cross readings, we can look at past, present, future, and have an idea of what reasons and potentials are, but really this is to give us an idea of situations, challenges, what our overall guidance is, how we're being focused, and more or less what we can determine an outcome to be, to give us an idea of how we might want to interact or not with certain people, places, and situations, because TBH, I keep hearing this is sort of a stifling, heavy, almost like wet blanket energy for some people. So many of us will be challenged by people who would like to influence a certain way, and it could be a time for power struggles to present themselves. Not that we have to participate in that, and I will just caution on that because I just keep hearing about people's impulses and the reasons why they might machinate towards another person. So we're going to take a look at that now, and I wanted to thank all of you who subscribe to my channel and those of you who support my spirit work. I really appreciate the thumbs up, especially if you appreciate my work or like the style of reading. And if you do, hit that little bell. It'll let you know when I upload more videos. All right, we'll see you on the inside of your video. Hey, what's going on, Pisces? How you doing? It's great to have you here. Been clearing the energies and shuffling these cards for you and getting kind of excited about these messages. I feel like I keep hearing the word rebound for you guys, and that might show up different ways, but the way I was seeing it is it's like how something bounces back. And they're showing it to me in a positive way. I don't know if it's like finding your balance again for something. I mean, it could be a rebound with somebody in your life, you know, whatever rebound means to you. Sometimes it's the relationship after another one, but I'm really getting a stronger impact on what it is to have felt like you lost your balance and like something just came to give you that jolt of energy. And I don't know why I'm getting that message, but I see somebody like literally kind of like bouncing, and maybe it's a good time to start exercising. Maybe a rebounder would be a good thing to have. Rebounder for, you know, jumping on like a little mini trampoline. But let's go ahead and get started on your reading here, Pisces. Let's see what's looking at us. All right, the Chariot in reversed. So, hearing for some of you all, you might be dealing with some car issues right now. That's the first thing that's coming up. This Chariot in reverse could also have to deal with the month of Cancer and things just being up and down. You could also be dealing with some people with Cancerian influence in their chart. The 7 here, this major arcana, the Chariot, is an excellent card when it's showing up right. It's somebody that's learned how to stabilize energies that might be otherwise prone to go out of control or maybe go at cross purposes for one another. Let's get a little more information on that, because this is what's overshadowing our reading right now. And in the center here, we actually have the current present moment. The Devil showing up right in the center here. And hearing for some of you all, this might be dealing with a Capricorn or with certain feelings of bondage or restriction being at the forefront here. But I'm hearing for some of you all, it's like somebody or some situation that had you feeling confined or trapped. This is often the sign of overly possessive things, how people might be possessed or possessive of others, and sometimes it's a card about addictions. So a lot of things could be showing up here, but these are both major arcana. These could be major life events and situations that you are being dealt with at this time. And in some cases, I'm hearing it's like throwing caution to the wind. You know, maybe you were just being very glued together about something and feeling erratic, and in some cases tempted. This can also be very tempting energy that sometimes has a sexual nature to it. So let's see what else is going on here for you Pisces in the recent past, and what might be influencing this situation is this Knight of Swords that's showing up in reversed. So for some of you all, this has to deal with some really crappy communication that was coming forward. I'm hearing, because this Knight of Swords is actually the knight that goes into battle. This is the knight who becomes victorious and becomes the king. And he's the only one that will really fight. He's the one that really went to war. And I'm hearing for some of you all, it might have been dealing with somebody who was really terse, or somebody who had rough communication, and somebody who maybe was kind of more like a shackle is what I'm hearing, like somebody that came to attach or attack. And in other cases, we're hearing about a weird attachment to somebody who took off. And I'm hearing about problems with somebody's car and how a situation played out with regard to two-faced people. You're talking to me about two-faced people, and that's sometimes what this can be too when it's reversed for me. When it's upright like this might be a really great person to be around. If you see it in reverse, I'm hearing it's like somebody I'm hearing the word psychopathy, that this might be somebody who just flips between altering states, and it's like you can't tell whether they're coming or going. I'm hearing some of you might have had to leave a really abusive situation. I'm hearing about abuse in certain situations here. I'm also hearing a situation too where somebody just might be feeling pressed. Like you might be feeling pressed, like something needed to change, because the Knight of Swords, when it shows up, is like rapid movement, rapid communication, things that are going to happen rather quickly and sometimes abruptly. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, it's like a really stuck feeling situation where it's like this thing needed to change so bad that somebody might have been motivated to just take on some of the darker qualities of the devil in terms of how they put that out. And I'm hearing for some people, it's just like how you got left feeling like you were stuck in a situation, especially if there was a third party somewhere. I don't always see it that way, but I'm counting 3 here, and I'm hearing about how somebody might be gone, but now it's like being stuck in a situation. They're talking to me about a bad mortgage for somebody. I'm like, oh, just a bad deal on some real estate. And for somebody else, I'm not saying a bad deal on real estate. They're just showing me what's on this devil's head here, this star that's landed on somebody's head. I'm hearing about a roof or something that either happened to somebody's car, their house. It's like a storm that blew through here. And maybe feeling like it's very burdensome at this time. Also hearing for somebody too, this is like just rapid change in a relationship. I'm seeing like somebody cut out of something here, and it might have been due to a third-party involvement. Let's get a little bit more information though. In our near future for guidance here, Pisces, we're seeing the Hierophant. So you could be dealing with a Taurus person. If that's the case, this is somebody very obstinate that's in your life, and it might be a good thing. I'm hearing somebody might be extremely possessive over you though, and I'm hearing for some of y'all this isn't actually as bad as it might look. There's a lot of energy around here though. There's like 3 major arcana here, and not exactly my favorite way to see these two. I don't love seeing the Chariot in reverse. In fact, that sometimes is like car accidents and problems with vehicles and transportation, especially with this Knight of Swords here. I'm hearing about somebody's like substance abuse and addictions and things that they've had to grow through. And in some cases, it's like how somebody or why somebody is being cut off. But if that's not your case right now, I'm seeing that somebody might have cut off something due to either abuse of substances or maybe communication. And be careful how this one comes forward, because I'm seeing somebody saying like, well, we're everything but married, so now this is what we need to do. And just know whether or not putting that ring on somebody's finger or formalizing that relationship is actually going to fix what you're looking for it to fix, because this is a time too where people could be very motivated, Pisces, to do things for manipulative reasons. And I'm hearing for some of you all, you need to know that that's the case. I'm hearing for others too though, it's like things that didn't work out or that were stagnant, because these are 2 fast moving energies sometimes when they're together, the Knight of Swords and the Chariot, especially if they're upright. And I'm hearing about things that were stuck, and that like now it might be a time where somebody just kind of gets it together and is like, look, we have this great physical relationship. And that might be the reason why they're wanting to formalize things. But I'm hearing about, and this isn't for everybody. You might be married to somebody already. This might be about your marriage or your union as it is. And I'm hearing for some of you all, it's like a relationship where there's a strong attraction here. And it could be very primal, very physical, very sexual. And that for some of you all, something was just not moving forward. And that this might be a time where somebody just says, you know, this is what we need. And how you take this devil energy and whatever this possessive attachment is and actually decide to bridge that gap somehow formally. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, the biggest challenge is if somebody's just doing that for some security to latch on, because there are some indications that that could be happening here. All right, let's see what I'm seeing in the focus, because this is sort of the reason for the situation going on right now, Pisces. Well, somebody made a decision. So 2 of Wands. This is also kind of a passionate energy. This is more fire going on here. And I'm hearing for some of you, This is just being confronted with the evidence that you needed to know how to choose between two things. And it might have been a decision about, it doesn't have to be about two different people. Although some of you might have had some options, because I'm hearing some Pisces might be confronted with turning away from one relationship in favor of another one. Bless you, baby. But it's more than likely that if there's a decision being made, it's something that has definitely created a fire of some kind, because this is fire element. Okay, this is sometimes leaning on our primal or baser motivations, especially when it's associated with this devil. It's talking about decisions that people will make out of passion. And I'm hearing for some of you all, it's decisions that you would make because of your connection or commitment to these two people. In some cases, this is like somebody just devout with how, I'm hearing the word devout, with how they will form attachments and hold on no matter what. And being confronted with enough either not changing information, things not changing, not moving, communications not happening, to have to make a decision about something else. And in other cases, I'm hearing it's just being confronted with how quickly something might change after you recognizing how you were holding on to it, and that it might not have been worth holding on to it that way, to have put you in this decision-making mode where you might be willing to only focus on one direction. I'm hearing this is like turning away from what wasn't working because something wasn't working here. We've got possibly this crappy communicator here with this Knight of Swords and this Chariot situation, but if that's the case, whatever had you in the dark or feeling like you were in bondage there, it seems like you're just looking in a bright direction, because if you take a look at this card, this person that's holding that stick there has chosen which stick to keep their hand on, and in the other hand, they've got both their hands busy. They've got the whole world in their hands. They've got this ball in their hand. And so whatever it was gave them enough impetus to turn that direction. And I'm hearing for some of you all, this is just like, if you've been single, for instance, this is something that could happen rather quickly. This is like, if the Knight of Swords moves very fast, especially with communications, they might be even faster sometimes like this. And especially if there's sort of this like out of control energy here with the Chariot. And for some of you, that might be literally how somebody comes at you. And it could be, I don't want to say disturbing, because these cards don't look very disturbed. In fact, this looks very decisive. This looks like somebody who is hell-bent on what's theirs, how they're going to hold on to it, what direction they're facing, what it means to them, how it stirs their passions, their creativities, and sometimes really their sexual energy, and how far they're willing to commit to that, because this is a very committed card here. The Hierophant is a priest, a scholar, a clergy person, somebody that's well-studied, somebody that's gone through the process, somebody that's educated, and somebody that will put a ring on it. So it's a little bit more traditional, and it's kind of funny to see it here next to the Devil. It's a little bit of an oxymoron, but for some of you all, this is perfect. I would just be mindful of what the Devil can signify for you, because for some of you all, there might be an attachment that maybe for now it's fun, because this could be a very passionate time for people. The way that, see, Venus just moved into Cancer too, which is one of your sister signs, and it's more of a gentle place to be falling in love and being intermingled with the things that are going to stir your creativity and passions. And people might be prone to overindulging in certain behaviors, so just pay attention to that there, Pisces, okay? I'm feeling some cautionary notes around that for some of y'all. Let's see what's on the head here, because this is the potential outcome for what's coming through in this Mercury retrograde period, and we're asking for healing, so we really want to see what's going on here. And wow, here we go. So some of you all are in the process of letting something go, and in some cases I'm hearing being challenged to change how you're taking care of your body, because I'm just getting some taxing feelings on this. This is a person that's putting too much stress on their back sometimes. If this is a physical card, this is the 10 of Wands. This is fire element. This is another passionate kind of fiery energy. You're dealing with a lot of fire here. You might have somebody that's got strong fire in their natal constitution. It might be people that have a lot of wands. That would be your Leos, your Sages, and your Aries. But I'm hearing for some of you all, this is like knowing when to put something down, especially if you've been having some pain. I'm hearing about pain here. If you were holding all these things and stuff wasn't going right, you might be ready to drop something, you see? So I'm hearing for some of you, it's just you're going through a time where you're realizing, I'm not seeing any Pentacles cards here, so I'll just tell you this is like what I'm hearing from the guides, but I'm hearing for some of you, it's realizing that some of the things that you have might be taking ownership of you. You know that saying, that in the end, the things that you own end up owning you? And I'm hearing for some of you all, it might be coming to grips on like burdens and things that you're willing to let go. I was seeing either issues with a car or like what a storm did here. This looks like a storm that came through and how it really might have rocked somebody. And I'm hearing that it might have had them having to consider what their world is made of and what they're willing to actually hold on to anymore. So for some of you all, it's like downsizing something is what I'm hearing. You'll know if that's the case for you, but I'm going to get a little bit more feedback on that, because whatever it is leaving us in a situation where we're being called into a certain order here, Pisces, because if the Hierophant stands for anything, a lot of times it's a certain order of how things will be allowed, especially in a formal regard. This is a very formal card, and it's definitely about commitments and things. So just be cautious about what kinds of commitments you're making right now, and what kinds of things you might be investing your energy into, because it looks like you were willing to pick a direction, and there might be multiple factors going on that are pulling on your energy, which could have you in this feeling overly connected state to things. And if that's not the case for you, I am just hearing that something might have happened so fast that it just gave you everything you needed to know to be able to turn your back on whatever all of this burden was that you were holding on to lighten the load, and you see, focusing only on this one path. So I'm going to get a little bit more information with the Sibilas. They're super helpful to get us a little more insight, but I want to see what this 10 of Wands in reverse is all about for some of you, because I'm hearing for some of you too, if you're getting ready to make a commitment about something, you might want to wait 5 weeks, is what they're saying, you know, getting out of the Mercury retrograde season at least. and paying attention to who's in your midst, especially if you have multiple parties coming and wanting to grab on for different reasons, because your hands might already be full. And for somebody else, I'm hearing that the number 10 is a really big deal. It has something to do with whatever's going on in October for you, or something that might be coming up ahead in the month of October. And let's see what the Sibilas tell us about that. 10 of Wands in reverse. Hopefully we get a little bit of advice here, Pisces. Because I'm hearing for some of you all, it's like you might have exited some kind of relationship. And if you did, whatever is coming right now might be coming so fast that you might be willing to commit really fast. And if you're not committing to it, it looks like it might just be like passion, or like just a sex thing. And I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not telling you how to do your life, but if you see this devil here showing up, especially if you're feeling exceptionally attracted to somebody, I wouldn't always take this card lightly and just be like, hey, just have a fling. I'm not the have a fling guy. I'm kind of like the boring, like, love the one you're with guy. And if you're going to have these devil moments with somebody, you know, make sure there's somebody worth being connected to, or at least not getting injured with or by. And sometimes the people that show up with the devil energy, they might be drawing on our emotions for different reasons. You know, they might just be very attractive. You might just have very good chemistry, but in some cases, you know, just wrap it up, y'all. You know, make sure you're taking care of yourself. And, let's see here. Alright, I think that's going to do it there. What do we need to know about that? 10 of Wands, Pisces. Alright. So somebody has been waiting for something. And somebody also has hooks in them, is what I'm hearing. So you might be really confronted with things that you were waiting on, or news or communication that might have hooked you in some way. I'm hearing that this has a lot to do with knowing the difference between what's good for you emotionally and what's serving your balanced sense of ego versus how things might pull at your heartstrings and take you for a ride. We're seeing a lie card showing up here. Falsita, this little cat sitting on the chair. You also have a little flying cat in the air over here. Maybe cats have something to do with your world here, or maybe not, but there's a communication here in this cat's hand and this little lion. And then we've got this cat that's sitting on this chair here that might be exposing whatever the lies were, or, you know, it's possible that you had somebody lying to you about a commitment. Maybe that's what got cut off over here, Pisces. And I deliranti. I'm seeing people that have substance abuse issues. These are 3 people that can't even stand themselves up without each other. And so we're hearing about the lies that people will tell sometimes just to drag somebody along in their plot. And I'm hearing whatever it is might not be so bad if you're paying attention to the signs and keeping a real good grip on your willingness to make a positive direction. Because right here, I'm actually seeing somebody being surprised by something in a gentle way. It's not the biggest surprise here, but consolante sorpresa, a lot of times it's like, hey, you know, while I was mucking around over here, I ran into some money, or, you know, something worked out. And so for some of you all, I'm hearing it's like an end to finding out about a third-party involvement situation that didn't work, especially if you had somebody take off on you, and in some cases finding that silver lining. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, it might actually be another relationship and somebody new to embrace in your life. So if that's what you're looking for, Pisces, it's here. Yeah, I'm hearing If I just look under here, disgrazia is showing up underneath disconsolante sorpresa. This is actually a house fire. This is something going on with somebody's house being in shambles. And I'm hearing for some of you all, it's figuring out why that happened, or some kind of storm or wrecking ball having shown up, but it actually working out. So something is going to come in here that's going to help with the situation, and it's actually going to be a relief for a lot of you. So make sure you're getting rest, make sure you're taking care of your back, make sure that if there are people coming in testing you, or you're feeling especially drawn or motivated to them, that you're at least cautious about the commitments that you're making here, Pisces. And if there's something going on with your car, oh, I'm so sorry, make sure you're taking care of it. Mercury retrograde can be really weird with things energetically, especially mechanically. So if you're having a situation with the car where you have to get it repaired or replaced, do check multiple times to make sure that everything is on the up, that you're insured well, that you're backed up well, that the fine print is especially keyed in, because some of these things could be like burdens. And it feels to me too like some of you all might be feeling a little bit flamboyant about how you spend your money, and you know, you might have gotten an idea about something, and just make sure that it's not taking ownership of you at this time, Pisces. All right, let me know what you think about this reading. If you liked it, I appreciate your thumbs up. And if you'd like for me to take a look with just your energies, my information is here, artoflove.me, and also in the description box. I'd love to do that reading for you. So yeah, thanks for being here. Really appreciate your support of my spirit work, and take care. This is a time to take care of yourself and make sure you're not being taken down the wrong path. All right, Pisces? We'll see you again soon when we're back for another one.
Promise that you'll catch me.